Welcome back, everybody, to Zlatan's Fight Picks. Today we've got the recap for Yadong versus Simone. It was a good fight. Lots of good fights. That card, we did pretty good. I mean, we got 3 wrong, which is pretty good. 3 out of 11 ain't bad. What was that? We're running in the 70s, high 70%, something like that. That's pretty good. As an individual basis, if you made these bets, you would have, every one of them, you would have come out ahead. As a parlay, you would have made a little bit of money, but because of the location of some of the losses, it would have been a lot better if a couple of them had won, because we seem to have sprinkled these parlays in the middle of everything, right? Nevertheless, let's go over what happened that night. We'll start off with this one, our lowest confidence, but one that we took because we thought the odds were good, and looking at the individual and their fighting style, we thought, well, I thought that she was going to pull this off. She is a Sambo expert, and she proved why, because Sambo experts are good at leg locks and submissions of that type. And of course, the person she was fighting is good, but unfortunately, she is also a judo expert, and she has been submitted before by jiu-jitsu experts. So we were expecting kind of the same thing, and that's what we got. Although, you know, we didn't have a lot of tape on Alexieva. What we did see is that she's come in hands down, really tough, loves to brawl, not scared of being taken down. And obviously you see why she's not being scared of taken down, because she is really good on the ground. And she is a Sambo expert, and she proved it. Once she got taken down, she went for a leg lock. Well, she reached down, she reached for a leg, and she got her in, what is that? And some kind of knee bar. And of course, there was a tap by Stephanie Egger. And Stephanie Egger, you know, once she doesn't have any answers on the feet, she didn't have any answers on the feet as far as the striking goes. Alexieva was just walking her down. And once she got her on the ground, well, Alexieva had a lot of tools as well. So, fantastic bet. Plus 240 underdog. That was a nice one. That made up pretty much for, if you had bet evenly on this would have made up for all the losses. And then everything else would have been gravy. If you had bet individually. And then as a parlay, there was a small run here. Not huge, but we did have a victory there as well. So nevertheless, going to Horth, we had picked Horth. She was a slight favorite. Cohen did put up a really good fight. You know, really good leg kicks, kicks to the body. But actually, sorry, Horth had some really good kicks to the body. Kept Cowan at bay. Good kicks to the head, good kicks to the body. Did most of the damage. Won the first 2 rounds. Definitely a good pick. She had a good victory over Cohen. Cohen did make a good showing of herself. You know, she'd come in, she'd blitz forward. She's very strong. She's very powerful. You know, I got to see a different side to her as well. It was a good fight between the both girls. Nevertheless, correct. Durden. Well, guess what? Durden pulled it off. He was an underdog. Yeah, we had gone over this where we know that Durden is a fast starter, chain wrestler, and he did surprise me a couple times with some of the fights. And it seems like since I first saw him, he's gotten better and better. Nevertheless, Johnson, as usual, slow starter, doesn't have a lot of volume. As the fight went on, he got stronger and stronger, and he won the 3rd round. But guess what? He's already so far behind, he couldn't win the fight. And that's what the problem with Charles Johnson is. And this is what we expect him. He just doesn't do enough. Doesn't quite do enough. Even though he's got a great gas tank. He's overall a great mixed martial artist. But Durden still pulled this off, and that was not a surprise. What is a surprise is Newsom. Oh, Newsom. But he was, he's fighting a new guy, McGee. And although I liked McGee, he looked really powerful. I didn't really see what level of competition he was fighting at, and I saw some new things with Newsom's game, his striking and his, wheel kicks. And, and we know he likes taking people to the ground, and McGee has been taken to the ground before. Although in this fight, he got taken to the ground and he kept getting back up. And I think eventually Newsom just... it discouraged Newsom after how much effort it took him to bring him down, and you can see him kind of breaking in the second round or at the end of the first round. And McGee, very tough guy, strong-willed, and just put it on him and got him out of there. So that was a mistake on Newsom. I mean, I guess don't bet on Newsom, right? But McGee, we saw a lot out of him. Definitely a good guy to bet on. Seems like he's got a really strong takedown defense. He's not interested in being on the ground, although he'd ground and pound you if he gets a chance, obviously. He'd rather be on the feet, but he's got a great takedown, bounces back up. Yeah, he looked really good. The next order was Yadong, and picked Yadong over Simone. Yeah, Yadong, tough guy to take down. Simone has had trouble with guys that have good takedown defense, and Yadong's got a lot of power in his hands. Great boxer, is fast, and he got him out of there. And of course, Uriah Faber is Yadong's coach, and he trains with him. And Uriah Faber is the one guy who knocked out Simone with an overhand right. So, Yadong is very powerful, very fast. And yeah, I just couldn't see Simone beating him. And when it got on the feet, Yadong's gonna be the winner in that competition. But he did get taken down, but he bounced back up. Although I really like Simone. I think he's a good fighter. I lost a little bit of respect for Yadong. And at first I wasn't sure. He seemed like a real asshole, actually. Straight up asshole. In the first round, I think it was it was the second round. I remember he headbutted. He clashed heads with Simone, and Simone went down, and I thought it was a punch, but then they showed it was a headbutt. And then, like 2 rounds later, at the end of the round, you see Yadong going in to, and he wasn't even going in to punch Simone. He had his hands down, charging, took about 3 steps, charging like a bull straight into Simone's face. And I thought, man, this wasn't even hidden. It was blatant. It was just a blatant violation of a headbutt. He just ran right into him with his head. Literally, you'll see it at the end of I think it was the 4th round or the 3rd round. He just ran at him with his hands down. He didn't even have hands up. He just ran straight at him right at the end of the round and hit him in the cheek. And then the round ended. And I thought, what a little prick. I totally lost respect for this guy. I hope he gets knocked out next time, eh? I don't care how good he is. I even picked him to win. But that's, I don't know. That's very low level, character right there. That's what I see. So... anyways, that irks me whenever I see that. If you're going to be a fighter and you're going to fight guys, at least have a little bit of character, or at least be how can I put it? The character might not even be the word. Have some integrity. Maybe that's it. But he's got none, actually. Next time I hope he gets knocked out by the next guy. But anyways, we were right. He did win. His tools were a little bit better than Simone's. Next fight, Quinlan. Man, you know what? I was looking at Waters, and I saw how tough Waters was and how good he could take a shot. And even in the Dana White Contender Series, he lost to a Von Flute choke, and Bonfim couldn't get him out of there. He took every shot he threw at him, and that's what I was worried about. And Quinlan, I thought, okay, well, he knocked the last guy out, who didn't have a great chin anyway. And I thought, Quinlan, okay, this is his second fight in the UFC. He can get it done with his power. But Waters being so tall, he kept him at the end of his range, and Quinlan just did not have an answer to get in close. He just could not get in close on this guy. Just couldn't do it. He did land a couple of big shots, but Waters, having a great chin, took it. And yeah, it was a clear victory for Waters. It wasn't even close. It was really disappointing. But yeah, Waters, what guy to watch out for. Next fight, Buday versus Collier. As expected, Buday, Jake Collier, I mean, he's just a fat middleweight. At the end of the day, he's fast. You know, he's landing a lot of punches, throwing a lot of punches, but he just doesn't have the power. And Buday, you know, he's just a stronger, bigger, stronger guy. And, you know, there was just no way for Collier to win this. I just couldn't see it happening. And, of course, Buday did win this. I think it was pretty clear. It wasn't close, even though Collier had his moments with his combinations and stuff. But, yeah, Buday, big guy, natural heavyweight, not just fat. So that went our way. Next fight, and I'm kind of talking more about the losses just because I'm pissed off. Erosa. And Erosa, man, will the real Erosa please stand up, right? Sometimes I think that he had one good fight against Hakeem Duwaju from Calgary. And based on that fight and how good Hakeem was, I've always held up Erosa to a high standard. And I bet against Erosa the last time, and it was a correct bet. And this time I thought, you know what? This guy just might be able to pull this off, because the other guy, even though I think he has a hard time fighting against tall guys. This other guy is tall. I think he might have been taller, actually, even though the stats say the same. But the other guy can take a shot, but he just didn't look like he was really powerful. And I thought Erosa might be able to be more explosive. But the other guy was very accurate. And when he put Erosa down, I mean, the guy, every punch he threw while Erosa was moving back and moving, he landed cleanly. Like, it was really impressive at how accurate of a puncher this guy was. What was his name? Fernando Padilla, right? Padilla. So Fernando Padilla looked great, but not to bash Erosa too much. He got put down once, and he came back up, and the guy, you know, tried to wrestle, got back up. Padilla defended. He got put down again, and I'll tell you, I thought he was out, and the ref actually jumped in to stop the fight. And in a split second that Erosa went down, he bounced back up, and he looked pretty clear. And I think they stopped the fight a little too soon. I mean, who knows what would have happened if it continued, right? I mean, Erosa might have been able to come back. He has come back in wars before, but they did call it. I think they called it a little early. But yeah, the guy dropped him twice consistently. So that didn't look good for the future for him right there. And Padilla is very accurate. So it was kind of disappointing. That kind of ruined, you know, a couple more legs to the parlay. So nevertheless, next fight, Vieira over Brundage. I mean, Brundage, as far as I see, Brundage looked hugely improved with his hands. I mean, you know, just the way he went after Vieira, you know, and attacked him and hurt him. But Vieira, you know what? His hands didn't look too bad, and he's really tough. And he can just show he could take punishment, go on the ground, take a beating, and still survive. Of course, he's a jiu-jitsu expert, so once he's on the ground, chances are he's going to survive. So he's always got an out. And eventually, of course, you know, he choked Brundage out once he got on the ground, and once he took him down in the second round. As expected, Brundage didn't have any answers on the ground, only had to keep it on the feet. And Vieira's not a slouch on the feet either. And I don't know, this Brundage wasn't with a high enough caliber of striker and takedown defense. Vieira is not going to be able to take everybody down. But Brundage was not that guy. So as expected, Vieira won. He was a decent sized favorite. Next fight, Rogerio de Lima. I mean, you know, really like the way Rogerio de Lima fights. Great leg kicks, very powerful guy, takes people down, hard to stop him from taking you down. He's very powerful. Strikes, hard leg kicks, hard strikes. I mean, I really like the way this guy fights. The only problem with him is he can't fight 3 rounds. You know, the third round he always fades, and that's the problem. And he with another fighter he might have been more in trouble, but he could take a punch pretty good, so he's pretty tough. But he got outworked in the third round, and Waldo, what's his name again? Waldo. Where's Waldo? Waldo Cortez Acosta. You know what? This guy's really tough, and he's really talented. And once he figures out how to stop so many leg kicks, he's going to be even more dangerous. But the fact is that he is so tough. No matter how many leg kicks he gets from anyone, he just marches through it. It's amazing. Like, most people would be crippled, but this guy keeps going through it. And then just when it looks like he's hurt, he could still put pressure on that leg, and he can still implement his plan, and he can still attack, and he can still jab. Like, man, this guy is really tough. And he's a hard guy to take down too. Rogerio de Lima got tired just by trying to take him down and holding him down. I think that's what really cost him most of his gas tank in that fight in the third round. Is all the takedowns. He probably could have just stood there and just, out leg kicked him, because that's what he did. It was a really good fight, as expected. Rogerio de Lima was a little too much, a little too well-rounded, a little too powerful. But Cortez is definitely somebody to watch out for. If he can improve a couple things on his game plan, he's definitely up there. He's got fantastic cardio. He was really putting it on Rogerio in the third round. Yeah, it was a good fight, but as expected, Rogerio won. Finally, the highest prospect, Barolo. Barolo, you know what? He's good on the feet. He's fantastic on the ground. And when he fought Olajaychik, Mikhail actually withstood all of his takedowns in the first round, except right at the end of the third round, where he got taken down just for like 10-20 seconds. He did really good. I couldn't believe how good his takedown defense was, and I couldn't believe how good striking was. And the couple times he did get tagged from Barolo, he walked through it. He's great. He's got pretty good striking defense. He's got good strike. I really like that guy. I mean, he's got a lot of potential. I just think he ran into a guy who's super talented on the ground. This guy can beat a lot of people on the ground. A little bit crazy, crazy guy, but yeah, I mean, he fought a good fight. Eventually got him to the ground at the end of the first round. Barolo got him down in the second round, and then he worked his way to the back and got a choke. And he's super talented on the ground. He's definitely an up-and-comer. He's going to be in the top 10 at some point. Mikhail Olajaychik, I mean, he looked really good. I think he's going to beat a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys who don't have the grappling of Barolo that he's going to be able to beat straight up. They won't even be able to take him down, and if they do, he can get back up. So the level of jiu-jitsu for Barolo is very high, so Olajaychik will be able to withstand a lot of that from anyone else, but not this time. Although he still looks really pudgy. I'm wondering if this guy can't go down to a lower weight class, like 170, and I don't know how that would affect his chin. But yeah, he still looks pudgy. I mean, the guy's just a really good striker. He's got really skinny arms, but he's got a lot of power, like just natural power. I don't know. This guy could be, possibly going down a weight class if he did the weight cut. I don't know if it would work for him. But yeah, the guy fought even in a higher weight class and he did very well. But nevertheless, there you go. It was pretty good. I think overall we did pretty good. And yeah, let's prepare for the next one. The next one's going to be a big event on May 6th. Cejudo versus Sterling. And there's a lot of fights. There's the prelims, then there's the early prelims. Going over the tape right now. Hopefully we'll get that out by Friday. It'll be Friday, I think, by the time I get it all done. A little later than I want, but like I said, there's a lot of other work I need to do, unfortunately, and we'll try to get this done and try to get this information out. But thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, if you like the content, hit like. It helps with the algorithm. If you want to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. All it does is give you a notification that if we have a new video out. If you want to use our betting link, Bet Online is in the description below. Hey, and if you know what, feel free, buy me a coffee. You know, keep telling everybody, I love coffee. Somebody keeps buying me a coffee. I'll always have a coffee. It energizes me. It's great. Thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, Friday.